What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 148. Woo,
We are
woo!
so close to 150. That's so crazy to me.
Almost there. Yes, we're going to be talking solo leveling with a special guest, anime news, and a whole bunch more. Hello and welcome. If you're watching live, join us over in the live chat. And if you're watching later, awesome comment down below. Let's get right into some intros. Hello, I'm Carrie Lane.
I'm Katie Cullen.
And welcome to our guest.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Glass.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Happy to be here, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And we're going to get right into it of how are you involved with solo leveling?
Oh, how am I involved in solo leveling? Well, I am the English dubbed director for the voices in solo leveling. I said that very poorly. It's been a long day of directing solo leveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the English dub voice director. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Awesome.
You came right from work to more work here. Yeah. We appreciate you for it. Thank you.
This is fun. This is fun.
Yay, thank you for being here. Yeah. Quick look over at the chat. We got John Knight says, hello, ladies.
What up, John?
We got Tommy Proctor says, hi there.
Hi, that's a new name, isn't it?
Yes, Untitled on Purpose has a wave.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome everybody. Then, the kind of standard, how did you get involved with this project? And because you have a history of working as voice actor and director, and how did this one come across your desk and you go, yes, I want to do that?
Well, I'm a fan of many things Korean, including K-pop and K-dramas and manhwa and all of that stuff. So solo leveling is a pretty famous one. I am a full-time director at Crunchyroll. So, there was an announcement, I don't remember when, late some year, 2022, maybe it was, that the anime would be coming to Crunchyroll. And so, of course, all of the directors, our little antenna, are going bing, 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 bing about that. But when I had the opportunity, I just kind of, I don't want to say I threw my name in the hat. I was just kind of asked, hey, is there anything coming down the pipe that you're interested in? And I'm like, solo leveling, hands down, give me that thing. And I told them how I've been reading it and all the stuff. And so then it happened. That's how it is. Maybe being a senior voice director has its perks. I don't know. I think that a lot of those AAA titles do get spread around pretty fairly amongst the team. There are 12 of us on staff, but just two senior directors, and I'm one of them. So I am thrilled. Yes. So thrilled. I'm having just the best time. I love working on it.
What has been your favorite aspect of working on solo leveling specifically?
What is making noise? My phone.
It's like popular.
I was like, ooh, there's some music.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I heard. I'm like, what is that?
And the soundtrack.
I accidentally hit something. It's in my lap because I'm like, if I put it someplace, I'm going to kick it onto the ground. So let me hold it. And I made music play. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
I mean, to be fair, the soundtrack is all bangers, no skips.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over there now. Let's hope it doesn't go anyplace. So you said, what is my favorite aspect?
Yes.
Gosh, man, there's so many things. There's so many things that I love about the story, that I love about my job in general, that as a voice director, like building an ensemble and casting and hearing everybody come together. But I guess at the top of that statement, building an ensemble and hearing everyone come together, would be Song Jinwoo himself, Aleks Lee, hands down. Like, sorry to all of my other friends who are in the cast. I love you so much. You know this. We go back many years. But working with Aleks has been unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been voice acting for over 20 years and directing for about 20 years. And then on staff at formerly Funimation, now Crunchyroll, for the last 10. I just had my 10-year on staff anniversary last week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But I really, as an artist, adore collaboration. And I think that's what is really fun about dubbing anime anyway, because it's such a collaborative process, how much we trust the writers and lean on them for stuff, how much they look to us in the booth to inform how they adapt, etc. And then how we work with the engineers and the mix engineers. It's already very collaborative. But there is quite a bit of weight that's placed on you as a director to kind of spearhead all of it, to determine a lot about the tone and the language that's going to be used. And on the one hand, that's kind of a cool responsibility, but it's also a little scary when you're in charge, so to speak, of the thing, the next big thing. But thankfully, like Aleks, and we'd met each other like once in the hallway because he happened to be in Dallas, where I live and where Crunchyroll is. And we're in some things together as actors. So of course I knew him and I knew his body of work, but I'd never worked with him. So it was a huge risk on my part. I tend to pull in somebody that I know very well to carry a show with me because, as I mentioned, they help carry that weight. So to work with someone that was unknown to me, but it's like we've known and worked with each other for ages. We think the same way. He's like, we're just walking in step the entire time, and he'll perform. And then I'm about to tell him something. And before I can finish the sentence, he's like, yeah, I was thinking of doing whatever. He finishes my sentences. And if I hear him say something and then I start rewriting it, I'm doing this. This is my script. This is my, I'm typing, and he sees the screen and he's like, that's exactly what I was going to ask if I could say instead. But it's that kind of stuff happening constantly.
Nice.
That's just really fun. It's really fun to work with somebody that way, that you are like sharing a brain, and it doesn't feel like work. But then when it does feel like work, it's more like, I don't know, like running a race, or when you just did a really hard workout and it feels like an accomplishment.
It's work, but not a slog.
Yeah. It's just
And looking over the chat, I think you just covered it. Well, Gino says, what's your favorite part of working with Aleks? Yes.
I was going to ask if you had any like standout moments in mind. I know God and everyone asks about dubbing the Arise bit last week.
Quick plug, though.
Anything that comes to mind.
Quick plug on our channel, though. We talked with Caitlin last year with Aleks. Yes. So go check that out here on Fanversation's YouTube page.
Favorite moments. You're right. There are many. And a lot of them do have things to do with other characters as well. Some really beautiful moments with like everybody, honestly. But I always go back to, so everyone is in love with the Arise scene. Everyone is in love with the Egress fight and like the end of season 1. But for me, it really goes way back to a couple of things. Recording the stinking trailer, the trailer, which is for season 1, that was my first time working with Aleks. Like he knew really early in the year of 2024 that he would be doing it, but we didn't start working together until the fall of that year. And we had been in conversations on the phone about some things along the way, but it wasn't until the fall that we did the trailer. And he has this one line, and here it is. I'm saying how much I love it, but I just can't think of what it is. And like, it makes me, I get choked up every time I hear it. He is so good. He's so good. So the trailer's one thing. And then my favorite episode where I really felt like we had hit our stride already and like, cool, this is how we're going to operate. Awesome. Just very much in sync with each other and hitting all of the right notes. It's episode 4, which is the fight against the Kasaka snake in the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I cannot, like, it gives me chills. It still makes me cry as many times as I have seen it, which is a lot more than any fan out there, I promise, because of how many times I've had to listen and review. And like, there were times where I just couldn't. I would have to like stop and like leave the room and be like, oh my God, because just the amount of emotion and just sheer force and power behind his voice, it's mind boggling. And those are some of my favorite moments.
We got a question from the chat. Giga Derek says, do you also direct for the mobile game?
I do not.
Okay. I want to give a mad props to you as well of looking over on your Twitter account, how much you are giving a shout out to the actors in your show. It's so wonderful that even no matter, there is no small role. They all like, I think that's really great that you do that.
Thank you. I try. It can be hard because I have to have the time. But I try to do it. Because I know that right now, just the way dubs are streamed, we don't really have a credits rolling at the end of the show type system. So I want them to, get their credits, because sometimes the credits on your resume leads to more jobs. I get it. I'm an actor. So
actually, 2 questions in that direction. One, tiny hats for tiny cats. Love the name. Very cute.
Oh my
God.
Adorable. I love all of these new people and your
Hello,
names.
welcome new people.
They make me happy.
What does the day-to-day look like for you with the production?
Of
Excellent
Solo
question.
Leveling. Awesome.
Mhm.
So I'm actually working all the time on 2 shows. That's just how we roll at Crunchyroll.
All right.
Yeah, 2 shows at a time. So we do an episode a week of those 2 different shows, 2 episodes. So
Mhm.
I show up at 10 and I work to 6 until 6 p.m. and I have an hour lunch break in there.
Wow.
And we record the actors. Sometimes I have meetings. Sometimes I got to do paperwork. It's like it's a job, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah. But what is pretty nice about it is that when the door shuts, it's me and the actor and the engineer. And that's it. Like, it's just the 3 of us, except for those occasions where we have to record group scenes. And then it's me and 4 actors and the engineer. But,
And it's cozy.
yeah. So we just go through whatever they're scheduled to do that day. And then out they go.
All
And
right.
in comes the next person. Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback off this comment of, is voice acting and directing different from each other? How does voice acting or voice acting experience affect your directing?
I'd say that it gives me the ability to communicate better with my actors because I understand what's going through their head, how many people they're trying to please. They're trying to make me happy. They're thinking about making the fans happy. And I'm trying to get them out of worrying about that by just focusing on, here's what your character's feeling. Here's what I need to feel. If you want to be concerned with anything, how do you make me feel XYZ? Because they don't, unlike being on stage or being in a film, there's no rehearsing. They don't have the script in advance. They show up on the day and they're seeing it for the first time and experiencing it. It can be a lot to process and they don't have all the information. So I'm trying to help them, give them everything they need and be their like cheerleader. And actors are generally very insecure people. That's why we get on stage, so we can be someone that we're not, and hopefully people like us, So I'm there to, I understand that because I'm an actor. So that's how I think it is beneficial. But to answer the question, are they 2 different things? Totally. When you're an actor, what's great about it is you don't have to know everything. I can step into the booth and set aside the rest of my world and just focus on being whoever I am for the day. Haruhi Fujioka, Winry Rockbell, whatever character. And then when I don't know what I need to know, there's a person there, the director, to tell me. That's pretty great, but when you are the director, you have to know everything, every piece of everything, how that actor that's recording is going to sound with the other actor in the scene that is maybe not there yet, as well as how this affects the next episode and how the previous one affected this one. And yeah, there's a lot. And like I said, I'm working on 2 different shows at the same time. So there's a lot of stuff going on in my brain. It's way easier to just be an actor.
Takes a lot of real estate.
For sure.
I'm curious about the 2 shows at the same time.
Yeah.
For scheduling purposes, is it like alternating shows every other day or is it alternating sessions?
It's alternating sessions.
Oh, dang.
Sessions. Yeah, and it's just kind of the luck of the draw. Right now, my 2 shows are not due at the same time. So like one has a Thursday start date and the other one has a Monday start date. So the turn-ins are different, which is helpful. It can be really hard to be like down to the wire trying to wrap everybody up and then do your reviews. So it's spread out pretty well this way. Yeah. And they're 2 very different shows. I have Solo Leveling and my other show is Tying the Knot with an Amagami Sister.
Oh my God.
Really beautiful. It is harem-ish anime. It's just not a very big harem. It's more like rom-com / harem. Lovely animation and slice of life vibes, a little bit of supernatural stuff, really pretty music. So yeah, so different from Solo Leveling, which is just violence and beating things. And yeah.
You've really got the anime yin and yang going
on.
Yeah,
totally. It keeps it balanced. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Looking over in the chat, John Knight asked, Caitlin, what was your gateway anime?
Ooh, probably Sailor Moon. Yeah, I think I'd seen things that were anime before Sailor Moon, but I didn't really know that that's what I was seeing at the time. Sailor Moon, I'm like, oh, that's anime. That's cool. I like it. And that was when I was in high school, and it was on like Toonami in the afternoons, the early days. The
Nice.
early days.
I feel like there's a slew of us where our starter pack is like Pokemon, Digimon, Monster Rancher, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Outlaw Star,
Mhm.
all of the stuff that was on either WB and Fox or
Mhm.
Toonami or both.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
This isn't a question, but a lovely comment from Robin C. Wright.
Aw.
Wow, Miss Glass, you're one of my favorite actors. Been following your work for the beginning. Nice.
Aw, thank you, Robin. That's so sweet. I appreciate you.
We have
Thank you,
cool
everybody.
people in the chat. We like
Yeah,
them.
Yes.
you do.
We
Way to
like
go,
them.
chat.
Yeah.
Uh, this is a question. Tommy asks, have you ever been a voice acting gig where it was in a sad sense and didn't make you cry, like with tears? So, and adding to that, I would like to ask too of like, how do you get into those moments and how do you get out of them?
Oh, wow. So yes, Tommy, absolutely. I cry in the booth all the time. It's a great place. It's a great place to do it. Um, Strangely enough, I find, I mean, every actor's experience is going to be different. I find it's a lot easier to get to that place in anime and in the booth because I feel so safe.
Mm.
It's still really hard for me to do things like that on stage because there's so many eyes and it's live and it's now or never. And I can I can't get the emotion to come out because my brain is not living in the moment as it should be. But something about being in that booth, it's just safe. And also, we have the story and we have the beautiful performances by the Japanese seiyuu there to inspire us. And then when it's time for me to perform it, I have a gorgeous soundtrack a lot of the time. Or if it isn't gorgeous, it's something that is like pushing the emotion. So that's how I'm able to get into it. Getting out of it is, it just depends. Depends on what kind of scene it was, why the character was sad. Usually you've got some other thing you need to move on to record. So, the director can give you a break, to just kind of gather yourself. And then when it's time to go again, you go again. Yeah.
5
Nice.
minutes and a cup of tea.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Have there been, I want to bring it back around to solo leveling.
Sure.
Have there been any surprises these 2
Mhm.
seasons for you in someone's performance, in an approach? Like, has there been anything where you've been in the booth with an actor and they've pulled something out that has just
um, kind of with everybody.
excellent?
Like, I
Good.
know
That's awesome though.
that sounds like a cop out, but I love my job on the days when I feel like I'm just watching cartoons.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
know
fair.
that
Yeah.
I've done a good job and made wise casting choices when they just get in the box and they just do it.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
kinda get lost in it. And yes, I'm gonna have to pick it over. I'm gonna have to make sure that the timing works just right, etcetera. But, so many of these actors just step in and then they just nail it. They just nail it. I'm so proud of Ian Sinclair, who plays Chae Jong-in, and, Christopher Sabat, who plays Baek Kyun-ho. Like, these guys have been doing this for ages too, as long as I have or longer. But for them to come in and they have some nerves about the show too, and they're like asking me questions, and then they hear the beeps and they say the words. I'm like, that's exactly right. Like, what are you even worried about? Justin Briner as Gino kills me. He is so funny. He's so flippin' funny. I could literally go on and on about everyone. Emmy Lowe as Song Yi-han is also like brutally cutting and funny. Patrick Seitz was Kim Chul, who now he's Iron, but seriously, like, give me just the list of the characters and I'll go down and tell you how each and every one of them, it just blows my mind. I love it so much, and they give me goosebumps or they make me cry or I get choked up. Like, they're so good. I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy to be working with them. It's part of what makes the show awesome.
It sounds like you put together a well-oiled machine.
I do what I can.
And you said you had you were aware of it before it became the anime. What was that like for you first getting to see the animation of getting it, from off the page and onto the screen?
Mm. I think I was just like, it's so pretty. Like it's A1, they're really good. So I wasn't worried that it was going to look bad in any way. It certainly looks different, but you know what? It's supposed to. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. Uh, it's not meant to look exactly the way that it does in the manga, the manhwa. The manhwa is flat, and here it's a moving picture. And each company is free to use their creative license to make people look the way they need to look. And I also think the adaptation is really interesting, and I'm so curious about where it's going to go and how it has differed from the manhwa. And I also think that that is fine too, because when you read something, it plays out a certain way and it works for the pace of the written page. And when you watch something, it's different. Yeah, it's been cool. I'm into it. I like it.
Excellent.
Just
always
throwing
glad to
up
like what you're working on.
and throwing this comment up. I love their performances. They've all done such a phenomenal job, from Tiny Hats for Tiny Cats.
Yay.
Yes. And with this show and the fast-paced action of it, what is your process of like making sure to stay on track, because you just have so much going on? Or what are some techniques you have for staying focused, of getting what you want out of performers and as a whole?
We don't hammer away at something for too long. If it is proving to be too difficult for whatever reason, like we can't get the timing down, or I just keep messing with the wording, which I'm famous for. Like, no, that's not hitting my ear right. No, that's not it. Or we have to keep rewriting it to match the animation, and we just can't. Because I've been an actor in the booth and I know what that feels like. I'll be like, let's just leave it, and we'll leave it. And then we come back, and with fresh eyes and fresh ears, and for me, a fresh brain. Often, like when I come back, I go, oh, this is the word, like I'm suddenly able to find the perfect synonym or something like that. So that's a big one. Don't stay too long on something that is proving too hard, because then the actor can also start to think it's them. It's their fault that it's not working. And most of the time it isn't their fault. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I feel like that's just solid life advice. Don't stay too long on
I feel
something
like,
that's
yes.
not working.
Girl, you're right. Yes.
Wisdom from the booth. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Make that your next like Instagram series. Wisdom from the booth.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Well, you have been sharing the wisdom from the show. What also prompted you to want to show like how the names are said? I mean, that's been very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like, how, do you do that for all your shows, or has that been something you've more fine-tuned by this show?
I kind of forgot that I used to do extra content like that. It was something I did it because I love working in anime, and I know what it's like to be a fan, and I know what it's like to like want more information, or just want more from an actor but don't know where to get it, or to be the actor and feel like you can't be the one to step up and put that content out there because it's not your IP, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know, I guess I just got busy during Solo Leveling last year and just stayed freaking busy, man. Like it was a big year of just big things. But I was talking with Aleks before season 2 was starting, and honestly, the name thing, I have to give credit where credit was due, was his idea, because he's a young whippersnapper on the internet a lot more than me, and he's saying that that's something he had seen, as a lot of fans talking about how much they love the show, but they can't name a single character.
We're like,
I am the bad nicknames person on this.
Yeah.
Forever. It's like, I can't remember their name. Here's the terrible nickname. And then it sticks for the 2 seasons worth. Like, uh-oh.
That's great. Or because that a lot of people may not be exposed to Korean culture and understand how their names work. And especially if you then go look up a character, the way it looks in our alphabet may not be the way it sounds. Case in point, the title character, Sung Jinwoo, not Jinwoo, right? So that's where that came from, Like, let's just remind people that early in the season, here's everybody's names, plus here's how you say them. It's about time to do another one of those because we've had a whole slew of new characters show up. But that's where it came from. There are also a lot of Korean cast members, so I might have them join in and help with some of that. Yeah, Jun Yoon plays Yoo Myung-han, Jinho's dad. He's Korean. He could help out. Sung Won Cho plays Woo Jin-chul, who is like low key, like maybe my favorite character.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Yeah, so I think it would be fun to have them on a little video I make, just to share their culture with people if they're interested. No pressure, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any, I mean, we've covered some behind the scenes stories, but any other fun behind the scenes moments that come to mind that stood out as more funny than another one? Or
What I'm really looking forward to is hopefully getting to do panels with everybody and be at conventions where we can all be together. Season 1 really was Jinu's season. Everyone else is kind of there in little, very small portions. There are some other characters, but it's mostly him. This season, we get to meet a lot more people, and also the show is building momentum among fans. So I'm hoping that we might, a lot of us are really busy because we're in so many other anime, so we're already getting booked places, but I hope that fortune would bring us all together, at least a handful of us together, just to start making those memories, because to me those are the ones that really stick. The booth memories are hard for me because I do this 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I work with really remarkable people who honestly are remarkable the majority of the time. So they make me laugh all the time. They blow me away with their talent all the time. It's hard to single out just like one moment. And the ones that are big in my mind are probably big in all of the fans' minds as well. So like the Arise moment. Something that's really cool, because it just came out, an episode, we call it 18, but I guess it's 6, season 2, episode 6. When the Arise moment for Tusk. And, the Japanese have a different approach to the way the Arise sounds. And Aleks and I, from day one, again, same brain, we're like, we got to do something cooler. An American audience is going to want something more than just like, all the sound drops out and just this like solid Arise, which is cool and totally works for Japanese, but we're like, we're gonna do something else. So like the first Arise, I'm really telling a weird circular story, but the first Arise back with Igris was pretty epic. Like how that one came to be, like how many layers are we going to have, which layer is going to be the prominent one. There's also these like whispered ones that bounce around the chamber. It's a big deal when Igris comes to be in that way. And then since then there have been some others, like all of these bears and also Kim Chul and all of these things, but they seem to happen so fast. Like there isn't any time for us to do anything. So we do the layering, and it's usually 2 or 3 layers, and how they get treated in post is different every time, which is kind of fun.
Nice.
That's cool to know.
Yeah, and so we were moving along through the episode, getting near the end. He says his Arise. He does his like 3 versions of it as usual. And Aleks is all ready to move on. I'm like, no, go back. Look at all this. Like we have suddenly all of this time and lots of like cool big stuff and swirling blue shadow things and all of that. And I'm like, do this and do this. And so we got to have fun again with the Arise in episode 6. And I'm really proud of it, mostly because I thought of it. It was my idea.
Hey, excellent. Take credit where credit's due.
No, but he was very excited about it. He's like, oh, this is so cool. So that's the moment that's really fun. And then Aleks has already mentioned it on, I don't know, some video or other of his. But there's a spot in the manhwa in episode 14. So when Jinu comes upon Kim Chul and like stops him from like killing everybody else. And he's like, I'm gonna give you to the count of 3. And he counts like 1, 2, 3. And in the manhwa, Jinu is suddenly there, and he says 4 as he slams his head into the ground. Now in the Japanese version, that 4 was not there. And we don't know why it wasn't. 4 in Japanese also sounds like the word for death.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
but even though it sounds like the word for death, I'm like, well, that would be appropriate.
That would work.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not here, but like we were working very quickly, honestly, on those first 2 episodes because they were part of that theatrical experience.
Yeah.
So we're like, we got to get these done. We didn't have less time to do them, but it was like there was a deadline. Like these have to be finished. There's a lot more that goes into the process when it's going to be in a movie theater. Anyway, so it
Mixing
wasn't
and balancing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So when it was all said and done, and the first version, the movie version, did not contain 4 in it.
Mhm.
And I had been thinking about it, and then I kind of forgot. And then I went and saw it with Aleks. Actually, I saw it with my family first. And then in the theater is when it confirmed in me, like, we got to get that 4 back in there somehow. We got to make it fit. And then I went and saw it with Aleks like a few days later. And I kid you not, we step out of the dark theater. It's finally not, noisy and all that stuff. And we turn and he's like, there's this one part. And I'm like, we got to put the 4 back in. He's like, yes, the 4, like once again, like one brain. So
All right.
stuff like that just like confirms that I made a good decision. I mean, that's not
Excellent.
that's not the only thing that confirms I made a good decision, but yeah. Little moments like that are definitely ones that I will remember a long time from now, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned future of convention attendance.
Yeah.
What are upcoming things where people can be on the lookout for you and other projects that you're working on besides
Sure.
Solo Leveling, of course?
Yeah.
This coming weekend, I will be down in Houston at I'm Sorry convention that I cannot remember your name. It is something like art fanning. I don't know.
You posted about it on social.
I did. It's
Yeah.
on my socials. It has art in the title. So sorry, you guys. I'm tired. And then in March, I will be in Colorado at Colorado Anime Fest.
Ooh.
Yeah. In Denver. And that's like March 21st, 2nd, and 3rd, I think. That I believe is all that I can announce at this point. Doesn't mean that there won't be more of it. As far as appearances go, I've got those. And voice acting wise, I'm not really doing anything. I wish I was. And what else? Directing, the other show I'm directing is the Tying a Knot with an Amagami Sister. So just working on that and solo leveling until the next season of whatever comes up.
Excellent.
And then follow you online.
Yes. You can follow me on Instagram at Caitlin's Voice. And I am still on X, and sometimes I post things there, mainly like cast announcements. You can also find me on TikTok, and that is slightly different than this. It is just Caitlin Voice, no S. So
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for deep diving into the show and your experience.
Thank you
working
for
on the
giving
show.
me a chance to talk about it. I love it, obviously.
Yeah. It has been excellent.
Yay!
You have been a delight.
Oh, thank you guys. Have a lovely rest of your evening. I'm gonna go rest up.
Yeah,
you
too.
Yes,
Thank
I
you for
gotta
staying
go.
up late for us.
I'll do this
Yes.
again tomorrow. Yeah. So, hooray! Not this again. Not the show
Yes.
again.
No, the
I would
school
though.
level.
Back in the booth.
I would though.
Oh,
Anytime you want to have me back.
All
I'll be
right,
happy
wonderful.
to.
Take you up on that.
We'll hold you to that. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Good night,
Have a good
guys.
night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
fans.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
She's
that was
great.
wonderful.
She's
yes.
so good. Oh my gosh, what a delight.
Yes. Tiny Hats, Tiny Cats. Yes. Thank you. Have a good night. Yes. Thank you, Caitlin. So fun to talk about solo leveling. Thank you, everybody, joining in the live chat and asking your questions. And you could go follow Caitlin online if you have other questions. And she's probably posted about different things you might have asked about as well. So now, sticking around, we are going to be getting into some announcements news, and then we'll be covering the newest episode of Solo Leveling that just dropped. So you can just follow this nice little bar down here to stay up to date on what we're covering.
And we are covering Solo Leveling on the sub-release schedule.
Yes.
So it is episode
8.
10.
I was gonna say 8, 9, 10. What? Something?
It's 5 and 6 dropped this past weekend. I think it would be 8.
Yeah, I think it's
the latest sub release is what we'll be talking about. The looking up was making me tired or something like that. Like that title. That is what we'll be talking about. But first, we have some
Yes.
anime and otherwise news to talk about.
There we go.
Starting with, thank you. Excellent. You are on this. I appreciate you. Starting with, for all y'all One Piece fans in the audience, Toei Animation and the Straw Hat Crew return to Fenway for 2025's Boston Red Sox X One Piece Theme Day. So, if you are a Red Sox fan, a baseball fan, a One Piece fan who likes to see other people in real life, which it's always really nice to see other people in real life, you guys, it's super fun. The newest collaboration follows last year's wildly successful Boston Red Sox theme night celebration of the One Piece episodic series. Tickets are on sale now, and this is going to be May 3rd at Fenway Park. So get your tickets, go to the game, have it's the it's a matchup with the Minnesota Twins. Oh, it's going to be a fun one. This will be one of Toei Animation's newly launched national series of One Piece theme events with some of MLB's top teams, which was developed based on fans' response to the first Boston Red Sox collaboration in 2024. So it sounds like this is not the only one we're getting this year. This is just the first one we're getting this year. So again, that
Nice.
is May 3rd at Fenway Park. Get your tickets to the game and go have a good time.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we do post over on other social media accounts, NTATNB, so that will have images or links. Some of you may have found us via that, so thank you. And then just
and
check
that is
out.
on both Twitter and Blue Sky.
Yes. And then I appreciate this. Thank you, John Knight. Yeah, if you're still watching the Double Soul Leveling Season 2 and you don't want it to be spoiled, you can just mute and just come back and watch it later. Because
that's why we have the lower thirds.
Yes.
So that you can keep track of things, even if it's like, that is a spoiler and I don't want it. Keep track of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Continuing on with news for those fans of spooky stuff, we got some exciting news from High Dive. So High Dive and Shudder are partnering up, which is super cool.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
Like with Shudder, let's go.
You're like, yes, tell me more.
Two great tastes that taste great together.
Yeah. They're going to be bringing all of us Vampire Hunter D 40th anniversary re-release to North American theaters in April as part of the AX Cinema Nights 2024-2025 season. So that's pretty amazing.
Is this the OG D or is this Bloodlust? I assume OG if it's 40th anniversary.
Yes. Looking at the
cow.
image, it looks like the original. And so
that's fun.
Yes. And 40th anniversary. It's going to be April 9th, 10th, and 13th as AX Cinema Nights, as I said. And this is definitely a cult classic. And came out in 1985, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
what year is it?
Yeah. Yes. Also, scrolling down the press release here, High Dive and Shudder will present a digitally remastered version of the original.
Nice.
And that was produced by Sentai Filmworks in 2015. So also check out. Sentai does awesome re-releases of older titles. So check them out if you are not as aware. And okay, so it will be screened in both Japanese with English subtitles and English dub. So make sure to follow along. Advanced tickets are available at ax-cinemanights.com. Check out your local theater as well to follow along for that information. So that's so cool.
Yeah. If you've seen Bloodlust, but you've never seen the OG was definitely made in the 80s in the best way. So I would honestly say having done the when I could stay up for a bazillion hours when I was younger, double feature of 80s one and then Bloodlust going into like 2 a.m. It's worth it. It's a lot of fun. If you've seen one but not the other, it is well worth it to see the other. And of course, we always support anime in theaters. It is very, very fun to go to these events with your fellow fans, with other local humans, make friends.
Yes.
And then if you're like me, you wear a mask in theater because that's what helps you be comfortable.
And also looking here, it does say Horror Cult Classic will have streaming debut across both High Dive and Shudder later this year. But
nice. Oh, that's excellent on both platforms.
Yes. So so shout out to High Dive and Shudder. So that's awesome. I bet they'll time it for spooky season because that'd be really smart.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, we love spooky all year long, but
Of
I feel
course.
with their if
Of
they're
course.
gonna do the movie in theaters in April, just push it and do it like late September, October.
Yeah, you
We'll
can
keep
do
you all
spooky.
posted.
You can do spooky anytime. I know
Yes.
there's kind of a curse on releasing spooky things in January, but truly, you can
Mm.
do spooky anytime. Right. I have no good segue for this, but I am excited. So we're just going to get right into it. G Kids acquires global video and transactional rights to the critically acclaimed hit series Arcane Season 2. So if you are a physical media human being, this is the way to go. G Kids has you covered. If if I am reading this correctly. Second and final season of the Emmy award-winning Riot Games series to be exclusively released in 4K on videogram and home entertainment platforms worldwide in 2025. Yes. So,
Yes.
yeah, this is going to be so much fun, you guys. So for those of you who got your hands on the season 1 release from G Kids, you can look forward to much the same for season 2. And again, yeah, if you are a physical release supporter like we are, it's a good thing to have. I believe season 1, yeah, they had a collector's edition, a 4K UHD steelbook, Blu-ray steelbook, standard Blu-ray, and digital download to own. So they ran the gamut for season 1. I don't see any particular details on what season two's physical releases are going to be, but aside from, in 4K. But with that pedigree for season 1, I would not be surprised if we get something similar for season 2.
Yeah.
So, all y'all Arcane fans, keep an eye out. Further details to be
Yes.
announced. Yes.
Yep.
And I will piggyback on this a little bit, related. All y'all are K fans in the Los Angeles area. You want to follow the Instagram Fantasy Nights, KNIGHTS. They are running an arcane themed party at a bar called Idle Hour this Saturday. So if you're in LA, if you're looking for a good themed party, good food, good drinks, good fans, good time, check that out. It's like for
Nice.
all of my arcane fam.
Yes. And the other next bit of news, we had mentioned the announcement of Jay Balvin being part of Soul Leveling season 2, and it was like we don't know what character, and now we know because the episodes come out for the dub. So this is a musical artist, if you're not familiar, and is the voice of the dungeon boss Car Galgan. So that is our mighty Tusk. Who I was like, yeah, they had a name for like a hot minute, and then it's like, I'm going to call you Tusk because we get the nice gag of I don't remember your name.
Like you had a name. Eh.
Yeah.
No, sure.
Yes. And yep, agreed. This is Tiny Hats. Tiny Cat said so cool. He got to do English and Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a nice thing for the dub of multiple languages, which awesome to make anime accessible across multiple languages.
And it's always fun when you can get the same person to reprise their role in another language that they speak. Like I'm thinking of the live action One Piece. And how the actors were also able to reprise it for the dubs in the languages that they're fluent in. Like everyone had a different one, and it was just excellent. It was excellent.
Cool. Nice. Well, that does continue on to our solo leveling because we're talking solo leveling. And I was going to say, continue on saying names wrong. I'm kind of jumping ahead later to a character. I was having trouble remembering her name because I'm also watching Shangri-La Frontier, and there's a character named Emil. It's Emil, and this is Essil. It's Esil, and it's Esil. So I was like, wait, what name? Esil. But how he kept saying her last name wrong was so funny, and it's the Radiru, which again, I love how Caitlin pointed out how to pronounce things for different languages, because the other thing of watching this in Japanese, it's a Korean product, but in Japanese, so then I'm reading it like I'm like, on my brain. But anyways, I love her. She's so fun.
I had the opposite reaction.
It's funny. I would like her to be less of a reading a book. She's an anglerfish. Not what do they call it? It's another thing. I'm reading a book, and they're like people are hanging on to somebody, and they called it some kind of fish.
A remora fish.
Something. But
no, it's a remora fish. The ones that like cling onto the sharks and eat the barnacles. That's a remora.
They give it another name, but I'll look it up later and I'll message you. I'll be like, this is. But yes, it makes me think that. Like, I'm just clinging on to you.
What other name do remora fish have?
I don't
Hey, chat.
know.
Hey,
Sorry,
chat, can
Candy.
you Google this for us? Like, what is another name for remora fish? Or if you know what we're talking about here.
So
Or if
anyway,
I just have this wrong.
I think
Yeah.
it's so funny how she's like blushing about it. This is the well, maybe I just like the visual aesthetic because this was in the opening, and I was like, oh, I like the look. And to be completely honest, I was like, this looks like an effeminate male character or a female character.
Same.
I kind of was like, it could be it could be a feminine male character. We don't know yet. Because also with anime, it's like, they're a really good job of who knows. But I like her look. I guess I'm excited about this character in the sense of it's a monster that has like conversation more than the other ones. And then we also learn of a demon realm. And the other thing is, continuing on this theory, I'm going on my tangent of my murder board.
I have some for this as well.
So the guy he fights at the end of how we see him in the opening. If you go back to the demon realm, can you die here, go to the demon realm and come back? Which is a theme in other shows of like, you could go to hell and then come back. You just have to travel. So it's like, wait, why do we see him in the opening if he's died at this point? So I'm like, ooh, maybe they go to the demon realm and then they come back.
I mean, the opening, we've talked a bit about how the opening has shown us some things, but also been misleading. The opening showed us the S ranks fighting the ogres, or the orcs, rather.
Yes,
and that
so
is
it is
very much not the case.
Yeah, so now
And it
we
has also
are we at
fudged
the
settings.
yes.
So I think we're done with him. I think we had a one and done for this Demon King.
Okay.
I was a little frustrated with Isil, not gonna lie.
You
And
didn't
part
like
of
me
it,
like, oh my gosh, like damsel in distress.
at one point, I yelled, "Grow a personality" at the TV. I
That
was
is very fair.
unhappy. And I think part of it is just me becoming aware of like, we talked about this a few episodes ago when episode 6 actually, dealing with Karglagan. And I had been going into this show expecting Overlord style consequences when in fact it is SAO style consequences, which are two very extremely different approaches to a fantasy isekai. And if you've been here for a while, you know which one I prefer. So I think part of that glass shattering moment of, oh yeah, no, this is a power fantasy aimed at teenage boys. Got it. Has also come with the, why is everyone falling in love with him? I know this is a trope of the genre at this point, but like, you've known him for 5 minutes. He attempted to murder you. You attempted to murder him. He killed all your guys. And now you're just like, if you're into power, I get it. That's valid. But you were a badass 30 seconds ago. Where did that go? And it might have to do with the pacing of the anime. It might, like, I don't think we're
Yeah.
gonna see her again after maybe next episode. I think once Jinu leaves, he's out, and we just don't see her.
I think she sticks around. But
Oh,
part of my
God.
in looking stuff up, but I'm curious on how
Oh.
this character will develop because in finding imagery for our like the thumbnails on this, it came up with this character, and then I saw a little bit about who it was, and that's why I was like, okay, well, I kind of know where it's going. But somebody was talking, I'm not, no spoilers, but they were excited for this character because it was such a change of what the other monsters we've encountered are and their relationships. So I am curious on where it will develop because I 100% agree with like that your take too of the she seems more like I'm an attachment rather than an individual person and unique and cool. So I'm kind of curious where this will go because she's also getting to remain alive as a person versus the literal hollowed out like souls. Baron,
Baron, I think.
yeah, that bad guy. Yes, Baron with his dragon and lightning bolts.
I was kind of expecting this fight to be a two-parter, and I was a little surprised it wasn't. It was beautiful to watch and felt a little abbreviated.
Fair.
I don't think that's a bad thing. It might have overstayed its welcome if it had been a full episode on its own or gone into the next episode. I'm not gonna pretend to be like I'm not gonna pretend that I know everything and that, like, yes, I can
Mhm.
call the pacing on the like, nah. It
No, but we
it
did call
felt
it that we were like, "Hey, we need a fight where he gets his ass kicked a little bit. He needs to be knocked down a peg." So at least in this fight, he had to struggle a little bit, which was refreshing because it's like, well, he always win. I mean, yes, we want him to win.
yeah.
We don't want it to be too easy because then it gets boring.
Yeah, but he would have been super dead had she not intervened, even if it
Mhm.
was, like, the disappointing, "Eh."
Eh.
Like,
Yeah.
"Come on! You were fighting him
That's
hand to
it. I'm
hand 10
sprinkling it.
floors ago.
Yeah.
Where did you go?" And
Yes.
I also understand the back and forth of, well, I made an alliance with this guy, but he's
Mm.
an interloper, and that one's our king. So who do
Mhm.
I ally with? And then she nearly got barbecued, and I'm like, yeah, choice made. Like, choice made with the one
Mhm.
who does not barbecue you and in fact saves you from the lightning grill.
Mhm.
Done. Done. That little crush may or may not have things to do with it.
A little bit.
Fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a little disappointed that her character just kind of did this.
Yeah.
But also if she sticks around, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I do have
I'm gonna hear more about your murder board.
oh, you and again, for those of you who are new here, hi, hello. Please imagine this as like the red string Pepe Sylvia conspiracy board because that's what I do with plot heavy stuff. You should see my Demon Slayer one. So I have been, and now her family runs things. Yep, you get promoted when everyone else is dead.
Thanks,
Put that
Caitlin
on a
and Aleks. Yep.
shirt.
Yep.
So, I have had the going theory that this is all a game, that none of
Yes.
this is real,
Mhm. Mhm.
that we are in some weird scrap princess dot hack matrix, like something is separated from actual reality here.
Mhm.
And mostly supporting that has been one, the fact that the system exists, and two, a lot of the imagery, especially in the ending themes, and the fact that even in the opening and the ending, we have not let go of Biddy Janu, of what he
Mhm.
looked like before he became the player.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think there's still more to this. I don't think it's real. Um, but the fact that we had originally like in episode 1, he'd asked a question and we had the glitch in the matrix. We had the
Mhm.
glitch in the matrix from Cargogon's side, and now we have confirmation that the demons are coming from someplace else. That
Mhm.
we
Mm.
were in the demon realm. We were facing something that was so terrible we had to ally. And then, hey, how did they get here? Who brought them here? Who the heck knows? So I'm pulling back from this and looking at this. Okay, who were you facing? What was this terrible enemy? And is opening dimensional portals and shoving you someplace else and giving you different priorities a way to divide the people who are standing against you? Is this
Hmm.
I have this set of problems and I have this thing that's going to become a problem if I let it? What if I
Hmm.
pit them against each other and I win? Because we
Hmm.
also have Dad, who came back and went, "Hey, the Great Destroyer is coming." You know? Y'all have no idea. And now we have, hey, all of the demons were united to fight this thing. And then
Mhm.
we got yanked here and cash dumped that information and have some sort of hold where we can't pull any more information from that or we shut down. So something's up. Something's
Which
up
we do get that literally the her shutdown, the eye glitch, and the you've exceeded your informational.
for this
Um.
conversation and will
Yep.
be terminated. Like,
Mhm.
ooh.
Interesting.
So
And
yeah,
yeah.
I'm this isn't supporting the this is all fake quite
Mhm.
as much. It's possible that whatever this and I continue to use Great Destroyer because I watched Red versus Blue for like 20 years, guys. It's ingrained. Um, but I'm wondering if the parts of this that aren't real, the parts of this that are very video games, someone's pulling the strings, the system,
Mhm.
etc., are made and controlled by the Great Destroyer. If this is
Hmm.
just part of everything, which
Okay.
really has me going, God, this is more Scrap Princess than I expected. For those of you who are in for like a 20-year-old anime at this point, Scrap Princess was a lot of fun when I watched it in high school and definitely had some weird reality shit going on. So yeah, which is why I keep bringing it up.
All
But
right.
yeah, so these are the pieces that we're putting together, and 3 seasons from now, I can't wait to come back and clip this thing and be like, "I was onto it," or "I was totally wrong."
Well, I appreciate the pacing though of the show and the intuitiveness of we were like, this is what we need. Lo and behold, it was this episode. We're like, where is this happening?
Yeah,
What's this
alright.
episode? Murder Ants is on an island. Aha, thank you. We were wondering that. We're like, where is this? It is an island.
Japan. They made it to Japan.
Yes, and that was the other thing that, again, in watching this in Japanese, I'm like, oh yes, this is Korea. Our main characters are in Korea. This is an island near Japan, and now it is close to mainland. And now they are teaming up, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And also a really nice, seamless idea of not wasting time on the translation, literally within the world of the show. Of the here, I'm going to be the translator, and then we're just going to make it one thing, which I thought that was a nice artistic choice.
And him delivering his lines and the lip flaps being the same for the translator, like that transition was excellent and
very cool
very
visual.
well done. Very
Yes.
fun. Very fun.
But yes, ants on the now murder island. Yeah, it sucks to be you. And they lost a lot of people and hunters.
I have 2 thoughts.
Yes.
One is more plot prediction, so I'm going to save that for a minute. And the other one is I love that we cut back to the murder ant. Like, we ask a question, we cut to the murder ant and have a straight up perfectly timed screams clip. And then we cut back for the answer to the question. Just something about that. It was like, I know I'm supposed to be horrified by murder ant, but this is hilarious. It really was just perfectly timed screams.
There we go.
It was so funny. Yeah,
A
294
lot of
civilians and 6 hunters. And the fact that it took an A rank so that any given ant is A rank level. It's like, oh, that's a problem.
Yes.
But yeah, perfectly timed screams with murder ant, which things I shouldn't be laughing at, but truly am. Here's my prediction for ant plot. One, I can't believe we're already here. I thought this was going to be the overarching thing for the whole series, but no, we got the Great Destroyer to deal with now. For ant plot, what they've decided to do, because they're working with the biggest guild in Japan that has 11 S rank hunters just in that guild. Dang. They are going to field 10 of those hunters to draw out all the ants, because the ants are attracted to magical power in the same way IRL ants are attracted to sugar. And then the Korean S rank hunter team is going to go in and wipe out the queen. And that problem will be gone in about a year, because the lifespan of an ant with no other intervention is about a year. Here's where I see things going wrong. They have pulled every S rank hunter in South Korea for this. That is going to include Jinwoo. If the ants are attracted to high levels of magic power, and he is blowing the other Korean S rank hunters out of the water, oh yeah, they're all going to come back and converge on the queen, because he's going to be a beacon. Like that is where I see that going wrong, and that I do not think the 10 Japanese S rank hunters can stand up to the set. Like, I think in our opening trial we see like 7 in that group in the opening theme,
give or take,
and like them and Jinwoo combined, because he's so stupidly strong, and everyone's always like, oh my god, his magical power. So,
his aura. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think the bait thing is going to fail, because he's going to tip the scales just by being there. And you do want that guy on the end to kill the queen, because that's the thing that needs to happen. You don't want him playing distraction tactics. He's too valuable a piece for that. However, again, tipping the scales in the wrong way. So that's how I foresee this going down. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Pretty sure we are going to see more perfectly timed screams and a lot of people just getting McMurdered. I am wondering if they'll bring any A ranks with them to the island, just to kind of flesh things out. Probably not on account of the McMurder,
Mhm.
but I'm curious.
And in case you are new here, no spoilers. We're only covering what came out on the recent episode of the sub anime.
Yes.
But yes.
Has anyone in chat Googled remora fish, or are they just going to leave us to our own
No.
devices on that? All right,
This
no,
is
that's fair.
throwing
Love you guys.
back to Sung. Yes, when Jinu was like telling the Demon King, yeah, give me the map, and I'm taking your daughter. She's gonna be my way to get around here, which I did really like that
I
a lot.
did not cotton on to the initial I'm taking the girl implications until he went, "Oh no, she's going to be my guide." And I went, "Ah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, fair. Fair. Fair."
I'm looking the thing up that I'm thinking.
Funny jokes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I did appreciate this. I did like the little cut asides for like tank leveled up. We have a few level ups. We have this. This is equivalent to this. Like, and it was beautiful. Let's be real. That fight was beautifully animated. That is what A1 do. They
Yeah.
have that
There
pedigree
was
for a reason.
one moment though that was a what happened? Because it's like when he gets grabbed, when Baron is like grabbed from the back and Ginu's on the side and attacked, but it was kind of hard to see what everything was because I was like, who grabbed him then? But it was a moment that went by
Oh,
quick, and I like the crazy animation right after.
yeah. It was a good time. It was a good
But
time.
yes,
Any
gorgeous.
answers on your remora fish?
No,
No.
I'm trying to look it up.
Just text it to me later.
I will.
Just
I just
text it
wonder
to
if
me
something
later.
shows up
Open up
really quick.
your. You said it was in a book you were
Yeah,
reading, right?
anglerfish.
Anglerfish are the ones with the lanterns.
I know, so I don't know why they say it that way, but
That's two different things.
I know.
Maybe they're just using the wrong kind of fish.
I wonder.
Also, tangent corner this because this is fun. Seriously. Have you ever seen an actual anglerfish?
Yes. Not in real life.
The pictures?
Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, like, I think for some reason we all think anglerfish are about this big. I don't know if it's the Finding Nemo effect or what. For those of you going anglerfish, they're the ones that live in the deep dark ocean, have like the little antenna with the little light on it and the giant teeth. A good size anglerfish is the size of a VW bug. They are the size of a car. These things can be huge. So the next time it's like, oh yeah, anglerfish, they're giant. They're so hecking big. It's so weird.
Okay, this actually does work because okay, so this we're still in Tangent Corner. So
Yeah,
also if you're new here, we do
Yeah,
our
we are.
Tangent Corner.
Mhm.
So the book I'm reading is Firekeeper's Daughter. So I found a quote. So anglerfish, that's what I call the hockey girlfriends. A bottom dweller fish that bites its mate and fuses with it, a parasitic appendage unable to exist separately. So the female lead character is judging the girlfriends of the boys. They're in high school, boys hockey team, of just being those like, we cling on to you and we have no personality, which I'm like, yeah.
I was gonna say that did sound very not like other girls. So I'm like, yeah, no, it fits
Yes.
with their high schoolers.
Yes, so she believes she's better than the anglerfish and therefore knows something about herself based on her knowledge and that she isn't like them.
Oh yeah, real big, not like other girls.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay to be like other girls. Other girls can be pretty damn cool, you guys.
Yes. No,
Case in point.
She was on the boys hockey team though too, so she wasn't necessarily a girlfriend. So this is the but she does learn later that they're not as bad as she thought. So I'm glad she does, which I'm not done with the book yet, but
again, there is nothing wrong with being like other girls. Other girls can be pretty cool.
All right. We just wish Issa would be cooler. No,
right? Oh my god. It's the power fantasy bullshit where you start to see every woman in the show bend over backwards towards the main character and it's like, stop that. Stop it. Stop. Can we bring back his friend from the first few episodes? I was into that. Yes. Everything else is like, you have your own lives outside of him. Keep doing that.
which
Okay.
then Hunter Cha, I'm like, it's CHA, I'm saying Cha.
Yeah.
She has the conversation and realizes, wait, if it's all the people, it's got to be him. So at least we get a little glimpse of her.
Yes, you can go smell him again.
It was that awkward carrying that the pickaxe.
The
Yes.
pickaxe was very funny, but it was just like, come on, get
Yeah.
out of his orbit. You can do better.
If there are moments you enjoyed from the episode, leave comments below. Yeah, I feel that was kind of the big things in this one.
Or if you had absolute shock from looking up a picture of an anglerfish in relation to how big they are against a human being, leave a comment below.
I have the other funny thing, because I have a skeleton one that's like a fake,
Mhm.
it's just like a
Yeah.
Rite Aid toy
Yeah.
hanging up in my bathroom because I have like ocean theme. So I have an anglerfish skeleton hanging from fish wire. So it looks like it's floating.
That's part of why we think that they're little guys, and they're not little guys. They're huge.
They can be.
They're giant. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
You're like, what? Yes.
I saw that photo and I went,
yes.
she could just step in its mouth.
Yeah. Yes, we briefly talked about this. Nora Lara says they introduced the number one hunter in Japan in Solo Leveling. Yes, that was cool to meet his character.
Yeah. Coin flip
briefly
on whether he lives.
Oh, okay.
Given the stakes that we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
we can expect Jinu to walk away from it.
Somebody's gonna die.
Because he's the protagonist.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think someone is guaranteed to die,
Okay.
but I think
or severely injured.
I think there's a few people that might have more plot armor than others. But like person we just introduced from Japan, the head of the Reapers Guild. You know what would be wild? This would be like horribly funny to me. Like in the worst way. We had that actor.
The actor
who, and he's an A rank. If he insists on coming along, could you imagine? Just could you imagine? Nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that won't happen, but there's no way we just introduced him and then goodbye, we're never going to see you again. Like, he's coming back.
Yes.
He's got to come back. Maybe not here, but here would be very funny if he was thinking more publicity stunt than
I'm joining the rescue team. Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Zero experience, get his ass killed.
Looking over the chat, we did talk about this a little bit. Yes, Jinu getting the Demon Royal family name wrong will never not be funny to me. Yes, it was very funny, and I like that she's so polite. She's like, "No, you're still saying it wrong."
This episode had a pretty good sense of humor.
Yes,
like it had some good jokes.
I liked it. We get the action, we get the comedy, we get plot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
What more could you ask for in a shonen anime?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel that kind of covers it. If there's anything else that stood out to you, leave a comment down below. Let us know. And then that lets us think so that we're going to let you know of other stuff you should check out. And that's movies, games, shows, books, video games, whatever that we're checking out, we think you should check out. I started on Paradise, which is on Hulu. And that's Sterling K. Brown. And it's the same showrunner of This Is Us, but it is a more thriller based and other weird stuff going on. You learn very quickly what that weird stuff is, and then it's like thriller mystery thing. So far, really good. About 3 episodes in, and really enjoying it. White Lotus season 3 is back. Or White Lotus is back with season 3 on HBO. It's a fun show. I know some people have mixed feelings on it, but so far it's entertaining and a really great cast. So I'm excited for that. I think those are the big ones. But yeah, back to Paradise. Really enjoying the cast in that. I was thinking on cast members. I'm like, God, they're really good. Everybody's chemistry together is just so entertaining.
Good.
Yes. And then yes, I'm reading Firekeeper's Daughter. Very slow. That I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
What about you?
Yes. My other favorite bullshit cooking show is back. Next Level Chef. I love Next Level Chef, and I probably shouldn't like it as much as I do, but it's as another Gordon Ramsay cooking vehicle, and it's so much fun. It's so ridiculous. We're on season, golly, I think this is it's either season 3 or season 4. I'm bad at this, but it's back. It airs, I think, on Friday nights. Hulu has 2 episodes, and I'm very much enjoying myself. We've already got a crop of really big personalities in the contestants, and I am just so excited to see where this goes.
Nice.
Yeah, so I do love ridiculous cooking shows, and there is something about Next Level Chef that just makes me really happy. And I do think it's one of those Gordon Ramsay and it's like chefs as mentors as opposed to chefs angry.
Ah,
Like I
yes.
know everyone's like into Hell's Kitchen and whatnot, but I really like Next Level Chef because they are also trying to coach all of their people. So yeah, it
Mhm.
makes me happy. Um, I also caught up on Zenshu. I was a few episodes behind, so I had a small marathon the other night, and yeah, this show has taken me out at the knees in the best way. This is one of those. It was in Mother's Basement's Ones to Watch video, and
Mhm.
he went nuts over it. And I went, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And we are 8 episodes into what is presumably a 12 episode season. And you can feel it ramping up. And just, it does anime nostalgia well. It
Mm.
does, like, it's an isekai, but not in the same way you would think it's an isekai. It's so much fun the way it plays with things. It really does understand like when you encounter a piece of media when you're young that alters your brain chemistry. Like it handles that well. It handles like its different themes and there's so much going on in there where you can start to pick up the pieces a little early, but it also doesn't wait too long to go, oh yeah, this is this actually. Oh yeah, this happened because of this, and this is changing because of this, and here's this. Like, and also it grabbed my heartstrings and ran around with them. And the animation is unbelievably good. Mappa
Mm.
is killing it.
Mhm.
So if you're looking for good series, short series, I just I don't really know how else to describe this, but you should be watching Zenshu. I don't care what you're into. You should be watching Zenshu. It is unbelievably good. A plus plus, highly recommend. We have 4 episodes left. Please stick the landing.
That is fair.
It's always like never get a tattoo of anything until you know how it ends.
And so many anime can be great start, great middle, and the finishes.
Oh, not even just anime. We all live through Game of Thrones. So,
That too. But I'm just thinking of some anime shows I have
oh
loved
yeah.
where at the end you went, eh.
Oh
Um,
well, I sure did experience that one.
yes.
Uh, yeah, Banished from the Heroes Party comes to mind.
Mm.
Anyway, so Zenshu has been amazing. A plus plus, highly recommend. Available on Crunchyroll. Seriously, holy cow! This show. This I think is going to be one that sticks with me for a hot minute, and that I plunk down the money for the Blu-ray the second it becomes available. Like,
All right.
yeah. Aside
Uh,
from that, it's just been the same YouTube videos. 10-minute power hours releasing new episodes every Monday. We have fun here.
yay. Looking up, then Morningstar Bam says I've been watching World Trigger, Samurai 7.
Nice.
Been on an obscure anime binge. Also, hello.
Also,
Hello.
hi.
Yes. And Giga Derek says, checked out Captain America, Brave New World several times now. Very fun movie.
It must be if you've gone several times.
Yes.
Dang.
And um Tiny Cat says my For You page has been telling me to read manhwa, so now I've started reading Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, and
Oh.
we've heard a lot, yeah.
So you're gonna read ORV like 4 times before you're done with it. Like you're gonna, to my understanding, this is one of those where you have the experience, you hit the end, and you go right back to the beginning because it's an entirely different story with context. So
Ooh, okay. Yep. I
I
think we've talked
I
about
have
that on this show, right? Yeah.
I think we've
Or
mentioned it.
announcements, something
It
about it.
definitely in
Yeah.
announcements. It was in the Crunchyroll announcement panel when they announced it was
Yes.
going to get an
There
anime
we go.
adaptation. I
Those
found
fans.
myself wishing I
Very
had put my
excited.
loop earplugs in because 2 people behind us scream like horror movie scream.
Yeah.
High pitch. It was like, holy cow. Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, absolutely. Have a
Awesome.
great time. I am not
Yes.
prepared for another hyperfixation to take over my life, so I haven't started it. But I hear amazing things
Mhm.
from friends who have been into it for a good long while. So once you finish it, let me know. I have some recommendations for people to follow
Awesome. Yay.
if you want the good fan content. I say as someone who sees it and goes, well, I assume this is good because this person's excellent.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and joining us at Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And if you're new here, welcome. So happy to have you here. Make sure
And
to
if you're returning here, welcome. Still happy to have you here. We love you guys.
absolutely
We love you all.
returning people. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe here on the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, because then you're up to date when new videos drop. Fanversation is also on multiple social media platforms, so be sure to follow us on there. And again, we had the NTATNB. And Katie, where can people find you online?
And real quick for the new humans, we do this every week at this time, 7:30
Yes.
p.m. Pacific. We are streaming live. Sometimes we have other lovely human beings join us. Sometimes it's just us two yelling into the void. But either which way, we are very happy to see you guys here and thank you for joining us. Seriously. Y'all, we love all y'all. And you can find me all over the social medias now, including Blue Sky and YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on a horror channel on YouTube called Silver Screams that I do with my roommate, and we talk about spooky things. If you are one of those people who really enjoys people reacting to scary things and jumping out of their skin, like, it's that kind of channel, because she's really into horror and I'm really not. So our most recent one is a reaction to the Final Destination Bloodlines trailer, and if you've seen that, yeah, it's if you want to see me jump out of my skin, that's the place.
So you want a nose ring, right?
Final Destination.
Go watch that
Final
trailer.
Destination is the series that makes you afraid of
Everything.
being anywhere near the street when there's a bus, knife blocks, and especially if
Garbage
you're
disposals.
garbage disposals, and being on the freeway when there's a
No,
car full of logs. If
Yeah,
there's
you're
a
like,
log truck,
nope,
you get the
no.
hell away from that because Final Destination, it
Yes.
taught us things.
Yes.
And if you are not familiar with the Final Destination series, there is a YouTube channel called Dead Meat, which does kill count videos, where it's a humorous recap of the movie, talking about the special effects and the kills. So if you're like me, you're bad at horror, you still kind of want to consume things, but maybe can't handle watching the whole thing yourself, Dead Meat is a great way to do it. A+, highly recommend.
Nice.
Anyway, we have fun here. Final
Yes.
Destination is great in a sort of fashion.
Yep. I was gonna say also roller coasters. I hold on so tight.
Holding on so tight will not save you from a Final Destination roller coaster.
No, not at all. But
No,
it's the
not
idea
at
that
all.
if the thing comes loose and I'm hanging, can I hold on? Probably not. But anyway. Yes, y'all can find me
Anyway.
online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. Here on the Fanversation channel, the most recent exciting things are Santa Barbara International Film Festival interviews, the Saturn Award interviews, and I will include the link down below in the description of when we did the interview with Caitlin and Aleks back for season 1 when Crunchyroll was promoting that show. So check that out in case you haven't seen that. And yeah, welcome for new people. Thank you again to Caitlin for joining us. Round of applause.
Yeah, she was lovely.
Yes.
She was so much fun to talk with.
And if you're new here, we've had a couple other guests from the season as well. So check that out back in the playlist here of Nighttime at the Nerd Bar.
And if you are interested in seeing kind of the gamut of guests that we've talked to, our 100th episode was a guest extravaganza.
Yes. Which I'm like, ooh, we're making our way to 150 and they'll soon be 200.
Right? What the hell?
Woo!
What year is it?
And then on that too, there's an entire playlist of voice actor interviews as well. So you can go check out plenty of content to keep you busy. So thank you so much again. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.